back to yet another episode of Pork Puck Hockey, where we talk hockey and only hockey. I'm your host, JBACS, and we got an interesting one for you this week. It's kind of a dead point in the season here. We're a week out from the trade deadline. Obviously, no more trades. There's been some signings of extensions a little bit, but nothing huge going on right now. The push to the playoffs is kind of coming up on us here in the next week or so we might have a little more to talk about then. But we'll start her off here with two congratulations. One to Mr. Sid the Kid Crosby with 800 assists in his mighty career. He's a multiple Stanley Cup champion, world champion in the Canada team with the Olympics. So very good career so far for Sid, and he's going to continue to put points up for the Penguins. And hey, he's got a few years left, I'm sure, but hopefully his health stays well and he can continue to play and maybe get to 1,000 assists here in the near future. Congratulations to TJ Oshie. He has played in 800 career hockey games. He is a Stanley Cup champion with the Washington Capitals. He played part of his career in St. Louis for the Blues. Very good Hockey USA player, probably most famous for his shootout in the Olympics. He did very good there. And yeah, that's the congratulations. We did have a bit of a scary moment the other night in the hockey game for the New York Islanders. Mr. Johnny Boychuk took a skate to the face, right under his visor and everything. So those of you who say, oh, he was wearing a visor, he should have been protected, sometimes it's a weird angle and it gets up under there and gets you. He had to get 90 eyelid stitches from a plastic surgeon, and we wish him a speedy recovery. He's a very good leader for that team. He'll be missed while he's out, but hopefully he can get back on the ice and get his eye healed. The salary cap. That's one of the biggest things being talked about right now is the salary cap. A lot of teams are right up on the current salary cap, and from the looks of it, it's actually going to increase. The salary cap's projected to go up between 3 and 6 million. It's right around 81 million right now, and it's projected to go to 84 or 88 million even. So that could help out a lot of teams who are kind of struggling with the cap space right now, so we'll see what happens, but very interesting to keep your eyes on that. An NHL committee has come together, and they're going to potentially amend the breaking the plane rule for the offsides when they come across the blue line and have a skate like kind of in the air. I think they're going to make it more of, like I said, breaking the plane, and should allow for NHL officials to make a better call when calling offsides. So next up, we're going to talk about the first 100-point getter of the season, Mr. Leon Draisaitl for the Edmonton Oilers. He's out of Germany, very good hockey player. You don't hear of too many Germans tearing it up, but he and Mr. McDavid there in Edmonton just have great chemistry and out there getting points every night. So very cool to see. Next up, we're going to talk about Mr. Chad Ruhwedel for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Very cool scene. His grandmother got to attend her first Pittsburgh Penguins game, was right down on the glass, and got to watch her boy play. Awesome family moment there, and you always love to see those in hockey. We got an injury here. A couple injuries, actually. Steven Stamkos, Stammer, he will be out 6 to 8 weeks as he recovers from a core muscle surgery. Very big loss for Tampa Bay, and they've just been another team in the league with plenty of injuries. It's just tough to see, This one's even tougher to see. The Edmonton Oilers went out and acquired Mike Green, and he's out for 3 to 4 weeks now with a sprained MCL. I mean, the injury plague is just awful this year. I don't know why, but it seems every player for every team is getting some sort of injury. So, we got some good news for the Islanders fans. The Nassau Coliseum will host all of the Islanders' home playoff games this year, as well as all of the 2021 season for the Islanders. So now they don't have to bump from rink to rink and should have an official home here. Players seem to like playing there better than Barclays. Barclays is kind of a weird setup for a hockey rink, considering it's made for the NBA. So cool to see that they're going to play all their games in the Coliseum now. Next up, we're going to talk about Mr. William Carrier signing an extension in Vegas. He was one of their original pickups. He signs a 4-year deal with a $1.4 million AAV, very cap friendly for a good third, fourth liner guy. Even can play on the second and first lines if need be. He's a grinder, gets down in there on the forecheck, so congrats to him. And the Ottawa Senators still struggling as they have decided to fire their CEO, Jim Little, who was only there for 2 months. As you can see, plenty of issues going on up in Ottawa between the rink, the players, the GMs, the CEOs. Hopefully they can figure it out and get their team back to some winning ways. They got a lot of young talent. Bobby Ryan, very cool to talk about here. He made his first return and scored a hat trick after struggling with some alcoholism. And he's back, and he seems to be off the drinks and hopefully focused more on his career here now. So we'll see how it continues. Claude Julien, head coach for the Montreal Canadiens, is said to be returning as their head coach for the next season and probably more than that. So we'll see what happens, but congrats to him. Couple hot teams right now, the Philadelphia Flyers and the St. Louis Blues. Flyers are 8-2-0 in their last 10. I'm not exactly sure what the Blues are, but they have been very hot lately. When we get to the standings, I'll tell you where they're at. These two teams, Blues kind of expected to be good after winning the Stanley Cup last year, but the Flyers, they were one of those bubble teams when the season started, and they both have very good chances to win the Stanley Cup, and they continue to increase as the teams continue to win. So, yeah, that's all I really have for you other than stats and standings, and we'll talk about some stuff when we get there. But I want to give a huge shout out to our boys over at Sunreaver for the sweet intro that you heard, and if you want to check them out, they are listed below as well. You'll see their picture at the end of the video. So let's head over to the stats and standings here. We got the standings first. Eastern, Metropolitan, the Washington Capitals have 86 points, leading the Philadelphia Flyers, who have 85, and the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have 82. The Atlantic Division, Boston, 96 points. I think they'll be the first to 100. Tampa Bay, 87. Pretty good. And Toronto, 78. The wild card, we got Colombo at 79 points. The Isles, 78. Carolina, 75. New York Rangers, 74. And rounding out the top is the Florida Panthers with 73. The Western Conference, St. Louis, 90 points. But, yes, they're having a very good season. But so is Colorado, right at their heels, with 88 points. The Dallas Stars, 82, third in the Central. Pacific, Vegas Golden Knights lead by a slim margin with 82. Edmonton, 80. Calgary, 77. Vancouver's the wild card leader at 74. Winnipeg, 74. Arizona, 74. Minnesota, 73. And Nashville, 72. So the wild card is anybody's game at this point. One thing I wanted to talk about, as you can see from the standings, we'd have two huge rival matchups here to start the playoffs between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames, obviously the Battle of Alberta, and we also have the Battle of the Keystone State between the Penguins and the Flyers if the playoffs were to start today. Stats, we're going to hit you with some stats here. Obviously, I mentioned Draisaitl was the first to 100 points. My man's up to 108 points already. Connor McDavid, 95. David Pastrnak, 92, respectively. And Artemi Panarin having a great season up there on Broadway in New York with 90 points. The goal leader, David Pastrnak, 47. Austin Matthews, 46. Ovechkin, 45. And Draisaitl has 43. I mean, look at these guys. They're having great seasons. And you can obviously tell. The assists leaders, Mr. Leon Draisaitl, 65. McJesus, 63. Panarin, 58. Johnny Clapbomb Carlson with 58 himself. Goalies. The goal against average leader is Tuukka Rask with 2.13. Save percentage goes to Darcy Kuemper with 929. Actually, Anton Khudobin is right there also with a 929, and Mr. Tukarask 928. Shutouts leader, Connor Hellebuck, Elvis Merzlikens, and Marc-Andre Fleury all have 5 apiece. Alex Steylock, Tuukka Rask, and Carey Price with 4 apiece. Defenseman point leader, John Carlson, 73. Defenseman goal leader, Zach Werenski with 20. And the assist leader, Carlson with 58. Rookies, Quinn Hughes. He already told you he's winning the Calder. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but he was a little cocky when asked. He's got 52 points. Cale Makar with 47. Dominic Kubalak with 44. Nick Suzuki with 40. And Victor Olofsson with 40. The goals leader is Kubalak with 29. Denis Gurianov with 20. And Victor Olofsson with 19. The assist leader is Mr. Hughes with 44. Cale Makar with 35. Adam Fox, really good, actually. 28 assists. I didn't realize he had that many assists. And that's what we got for you today. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And JBACS out. We'll see you next week.